Hello students, welcome to History 130, Web Section 2. I'm your instructor Matthew Opitz, and hopefully you have seen my earlier email, my earlier announcement, and had a glance at the course website. If not, then well, here it is. The summer semester officially started today, so now's the perfect time to get started on the course if you haven't already. Let's just, in case, to make sure everyone's on the same page, let's walk through from step one how to get to the course website. You'll type in my.otc.edu. Opitz is my username. You'll put in your username, obviously. Put in that. And that'll bring you to this page here. And you'll go to Blackboard, log into Blackboard. And then over here under My Courses, you should see this course right here, 16 Summer History 130 Web Section 2. So you will click on that, and here's what you'll see, the course website. Announcements, it'll bring you to this front page, which will be any announcements I post. And then everywhere else you can navigate on the course website by looking at this menu on the left here. So first things you'll want to look at for sure are the syllabus and the schedule. And you'll notice if you click on the schedule, your first assignment basically for the course is to look at the syllabus. And there's a little button down at the very bottom, I believe. Or it should show up on your version where it'll say that you can review it. Actually, let me go into edit mode off, see if that changes it. Ah, yes, here it is. So you'll click that button just to say that you have looked at the syllabus and understand what this course is going to be all about. So that's the first thing you'll do. And you also, as you'll notice from the schedule, you'll need to go to the discussions part of the course website and go ahead and post a personal introduction. All right. And then after you've done all that, you can get started on the lessons. Now right now only lessons 1 and 2 are going to be visible to the students. Lessons 3 and 4 will become visible after Thursday night to midnight. But you get started on these 2 lessons. This course is somewhat fast-paced since we are in the summer. It'll be basically 2 lessons per week instead of the usual 1. So, and what I'll do is I'll just, instead of splitting up into like 3.5 days each week per lesson, what I'm doing is just opening up 2 lessons, each week. So basically each week I'll, first week I'll do lesson 1 and 2, then I'll do lesson 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and so on. And you can work on those concurrently. And that's the way that will work. By the way, if you hear a bunch of creaking in the background, that's my dog, Willow, chewing on a bone, so I apologize if that's distracting anyone. Oh, and there's my other dog, Hazel, barking, if you hear that. Yeah, so back to the course. So you'll want to look at the syllabus and make sure you know what you'll need to do for the course. Basically, for each lesson, you'll have multiple choice quizzes, discussions, and source analyses. These source analyses will be basically where you just look at a document and describe what was going on in the time period, what controversy it was addressing, how to interpret the document. It could be a political cartoon, it could be a newspaper article, could be a quote, could be a journal entry, any kind of historical source of information from the time period is usually what we'll be looking at there. So these will be for each of the 14 lessons. There are 15 discussions if you count also the personal introduction discussion this first week. Then there'll be unit exams. There'll be a term paper. To find out more on that, you'll want to go to the long-term assignments area of the course website, and there are all sorts of directions there for that. And then a group project. You can find out more about that as well under the long-term assignments part of the course website. Now, you won't be sorted into your groups just yet for that. I want to get the enrollment kind of stabilized first before we do that. So I'll let a couple weeks pass before I sort the class into groups. But then once you're sorted in, that'll be what you will do. And just to give you a flavor of what I'm talking about for the group project, let me just go to a previous semester and show you some examples of basically you're going to be creating an advisory memo or brief to like the next president of the United States, or at least pretend one, where you will describe what you think the main problems are in the world today and where these problems originated historically in our country's recent history over the last 100 years or so, and what we can do about it, and what things we previous presidents have tried to do about it, and to what level of success. So so that's kind of what it'll look like. You'll have some writing, and then put in some pictures to demonstrate your point, and you'll kind of collaborate on that with your groups. So that's that. So for the most part, this this is the old old course website. Oh, let me. Okay, so here's our website. So a couple more things I just want to note real quick. There are two instances where you will need to come in onto the campus in person this semester. Other than that, it'll be a totally online class, but there are two things I'll need you to do in person. One is to take the final exam sometime between July 20th and July 28th in person on campus in a proctored setting. Actually, technically there is a way to do it in a remote setting through a service called ProctorU. So if you think you can't be in Springfield during these dates, it's actually not the end of the world. There is a way to work around that. I had to look into this ProctorU web service ahead of time and figure out what you'll need to do to use that, and you'll be able to take your test remotely in a supervised setting using this service. But that will need to be taken July 20th through July 28th. And for most of you, you'll probably just want to come into onto campus to do this. So that's one instance where you will need to come in onto campus, most likely, unless you want to use that service like I talked about. And then the other instance is for your paper project. After you turn in your rough draft, where is it? Here it is. And after I get it graded, I'll want to set up an appointment, ideally, with each one of you to go over your paper and how to edit it to be as good as possible for the final draft. Because I found that trying to do this just completely over the internet is somewhat of a cumbersome process, trying to make every fine little edit and detail and suggestion. And it's possible, so if it's absolutely not feasible for you to come onto campus and have an appointment with me on your rough draft of your paper, that's actually okay. We can work around that. But if at all possible, I would prefer to do this in person. It'll just be so much easier to do it that way. So I encourage you to be ready to set up an appointment at some point in early July to go over your paper. Yeah. So, but aside from those two things, those are only two things I encourage you to do in person on campus. The rest of it will be completely online. And like I said, if you can't do even those things in person on campus, that's okay too. Technically, we can work around that. One other thing, some students have asked if some of these later lessons can be made available earlier. And actually, I think I've decided that I will go ahead and make everything in the last unit available by June 30th, because I know some students are traveling out of town. They have some plans where they want to get most of the course done with early on. So even though this says available July 7th, July 14th, I'm just gonna make everything, like I'm still gonna open up these other things as we go along, but on June 30th I'll open up the rest of the course from there on out, so that you can work on that ahead of time if you need to. So yeah, that's pretty much the course. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, you can email me at opitzm@otc.edu, and or you can post a question on the discussions forum here in this Ask the Class forum. So yeah, look forward to reading all of your responses in the course, and getting to know a little bit about all of you, and wish you all the best of luck in this course. And that's pretty much it. All right. See you later.